Dun, 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 dun. It's finally time to put the journal together. So I have my cover and I have my signatures and they're all folded. I think I forgot to mention that I used a Score Pal to fold it just because the watercolor paper is kind of thick. I went through and thought about a bunch of different ways that I could bind it, and I really just decided in the end that stitch binding it is the easiest and the quickest, and it will literally take me 1 minute instead of like an hour to hand bind it. Maybe not an hour, but it always takes me forever and it's frustrating. So I'm just going to stitch it. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is just open your signature and make sure that your pages are all aligned on the fold. Okay? Then I'm just going to do a regular straight stitch. And these pages are huge, so it's going to be difficult. So you just want to get your page in there and it lined up really good on that center crease. And if your machine has the capability of putting the needle up and down, I usually just stick it in to make sure it's going to start where I want it to. And don't be afraid to fold your pages. It's okay. It will be fine. I'm just setting my stitch length a little bit longer so that hopefully it won't rip the pages. And there you have it. All stitched up and ready to go. Mine went off to the side a little bit in the back. I think just because the page is shifted a little bit. Oh, it's upside down. But it's in there. So the only thing that you have to remember is use a straight stitch. Try to get it in the middle and as close as possible. And make your stitch length longer. Like mine's at 3.5. So that's it. And then there you have it. They are all sewn in there. And the wider stitch length isn't ripping my paper, so that's really good. The next thing you need to do is figure out where you want your signatures to go at in your book. You can totally mark it off, draw a straight line, and get it in there exactly perfect. Or you can kind of eyeball. I usually put both in and then hold on to one of them and pull the other one out. And then that's where I'm going to sew my signature in at. So you're going to open it right back up to the middle. And try to make sure that the amount of space you have on the front and on the back is pretty close. Mine's pretty close. So I'm just going to stick it right back in like I did when I sewed the signature originally. And then I'm just going to send it through. Then you're just going to smush it back together and it's going to refold it where it's supposed to. It's not necessarily going to be where the lines are. Okay? So then whenever you get to a page, you're just going to kind of refold it too. And this is how the outside looks. But that's going to be covered with this in a minute. So one more and we will have our signatures in this book. Again, you're just going to do the same thing. You're going to make sure that the signature lines up about the same on the top and the bottom. So I got it in there. That side was way more difficult. I am used to making a lot smaller books, so my sewing machine kind of didn't want to take the whole thing. But in the end, I made it work. So like I said, you're just going to repress down the pages. And they're going to fold open just fine. If the stitching got a little close, like right there, I'll probably put tape over that and it'll help it from not breaking. But in the end, it worked just fine. So I'm gonna get set up to put this on here and I'll be right back. I have my journal propped up on its side. I have my rug loop spine and I have some Helmar quick dry. I originally tried to hand sew it onto the spine before I put the pages in and it didn't really work for me. So option 2 is gluing it. I'm gonna put a fair amount of glue onto the back of my rug looping, and then I'm going to put some onto the spine too, because it kind of soaks in to both fabrics, so you want to make sure that you're getting enough in there. I'm just scrunching it down. I just want to make sure that that glue is really, we're not messing up the fibers at all. They're just pushing down. I want to make sure that glue is really, 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 really on there. That the sides are really adhered to. I am going to let this dry and I'll be right back. Here's the completed journal. I gave the spine about 10 minutes to dry and you can now pick it up, shake it around, and it's totally on there. See, I knew I could do something besides hand stitch it. It lays semi-flat when I put it down, so yeah. I learned a lot of things making this journal and these videos. I learned a whole lot about video editing and uploading and the madness that ensues there. When I do more videos, I will have them prepared before I actually say, oh, I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm not going to just start taping them tomorrow. I'm going to actually have them done. But other than that, it was pretty stress-free. I used the brayer more than I've ever used it in my life. And I definitely will be using it more often. Making stencils was fun. I don't really know if I'll do it again, but it was cool to get some Christmas stencils that look a little different. It was fun to practice my free motion sewing. That's always a good time. And to just make a mess. I think this journal is going to be a lot of fun to work in over the course of the next month. I'm going to show you how I made the tags real quick. The numbers in circle form, like that, are going to be available for a free download on my blog forever. So yeah, I made them just for you. And I'm super excited that I know how to make them, because now I'm going to make them all the time for everything. So let's get started on that, and we'll be 100% done. The last thing I'm going to do for my journal is make some tags to put the Advent stamps onto. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think so. So I made these in Photoshop, and I printed them. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. I printed them off on just regular computer paper. That doesn't really bother me. You can print it off on cardstock if you want, or the sticky back canvas, or kind of anything that you want. I cut mine out in a few different ways to give you an idea. This one I hand cut. It's not, let's zoom in. It is not perfect by any means, okay? This one, also not perfect. I cut out with a Nestabilities die. This one, okay? This one, I also cut out with a Nestabilities die, a scallop one. So these two, I use the Nestabilities, but you guys could totally use regular punches. And then the last one, I drew a janky circle and did some inking on it. Then when you go to stamp them, you can either stamp them before or after you punch them out. It doesn't really matter. Just get some black ink and a stamp. Make sure your words are going the right direction. And then stamp it in the middle. So day 5 will be try, take a chance. That'll be fun. And then, like I said, you can just cut these out any way you want. Freehand them. I already made the circles for you with the numbers. I am going to put up the teal version and the red version for people that want to do traditional ones. You guys can use these for, like, if you do whatever, 31 days of Christmas, or even on a scrapbook page or whatever. Feel free. You will get numbers 1 through 31. And then on the last one, which that'll be white on yours. I don't know why this one's red, but I'll fix it before I put it up. So you'll get 1 through 31, and then one that says Merry and Bright, and one that says Merry Christmas, and 3 blank ones for you guys to stamp whatever you want on it. So I hope you enjoy these videos as much as I enjoyed making them. Like I said before, I learned a ton. I got a lot out of it, so hopefully somebody else did. Create what makes you happy. Bye.